They called her the Silent One. Even among the cacophony of the arena, the sprawling coliseum at the heart of the Zarn Dominion, where death was not only expected, but demanded, she stood unervingly still. While the other captives wept, raged, or postured, she simply watched. I am Rizal, third psychodiplomatic observer of the Gazar Enlightened Concord. My species, tall and feathered, evolved from predatory gliders and pride ourselves on empathy, art, and peace. War revolts us. Violence is beneath us. Yet when the Zarn summoned the galaxy's representatives to bear witness to their unity trials, we could not refuse. The girl was human. That alone explained much and raised more questions. Humans, or Deathworlders, as they're called in whispered tones, hail from a planet so feral that its flora kills, its fauna devours, and if weather seems personally offended by life, they are endurance predators, pack bond fanatics, stubborn survivors. But this one, she was something else. She had been captured in Sector 12X during a border raid. The warlord Krathis, a 9-limbed apex beast covered in chitin and cruelty, had requested her by name. Rumor was she killed an entire boarding crew, barehanded. I thought the claim exaggerated, until I saw her in the flesh. She stood no taller than my lower plume, her build compact, her expression unreadable. The arena guard shackled her with plasma coils, but she didn't resist, didn't blink. She just looked ahead with eyes that saw too much. We observers were granted neural feeds to monitor combatants' biosigns. I reviewed hers. Pulse, steady. Cortisol levels, normal. Muscle tension, minimal. In other words, calm. Before slaughter. The arena crowd roared as Krathis entered the pit. 10 feet tall, plated in organic armor. The warlord raised his claws to the heavens and let out a roar that shattered the sonic dampeners. The girl didn't flinch. He lunged, faster than a shuttle, claws wide. And still she didn't move. My feathers ruffled. She would be cleaved in two. Then everything changed. In a blur of motion, she pivoted. No wasted movement. Her elbow struck a joint in Krathis' mid-limbs. A crack echoed through the arena. The beast reeled. She darted beneath his mass, grabbed his hind support limb, and twisted. Snap. The crowd gasped. So did I. The warlord collapsed like a dismantled siege engine. He roared in agony, but she wasn't done. She climbed his back, dodging his flailing limbs, and gripped his central spine. With a sharp grunt, her only sound, she pulled. I heard bones break. I smelled neural fluid. And then silence. This was dead, not defeated. Dead. A single human girl had just slain one of the galaxy's most fearsome warriors, and she hadn't even broken a sweat. Later, in the private archives of the Observer's Hall, I accessed the records of her species. Curious, disturbed, awed. I interviewed her, too. She spoke only once. They made me fight, so I did. I pressed for more. Why was she calm? What had they done to her? She looked me dead in the eye and said, "You don't grow up on Earth without learning to keep your monsters inside." But that's not the twist. The real shock came weeks later. The Zarn were furious. This was not just a warlord. He was the chosen heir to the Zarn Overmind. To have him slain by a primitive was unthinkable. A dishonor. They declared a retribution trial. Their entire leadership council demanded her execution. But the girl, she didn't resist. Didn't fight. Until she wanted to. During the ceremonial binding, when the Zarn highborn spat at her feet and called her soft meat. I was there. I watched her eyes flicker. Something ancient woke inside them. She spoke, and the chamber went cold. "I was sent here," she said, "to see what your kind would do. You failed." I remember the silence, the way she rolled her neck, stretched as though removing a mask. Then it happened. Her skin shifted. Not peeled, shifted. Her muscles expanded, bones restructured, eyes glowed faintly red. It wasn't rage. It was revelation. She's not fully human. I heard someone whisper, and they were right. Turns out she was born on Earth, but not to normal parents. She was genetically engineered in the black vaults of TerraCorp, a hybrid of human and something older, something forbidden. The girl, no, the weapon, had been seeded into space with one goal: to test if the galaxy was still hostile, and if so, she would act, and act she did. The entire Zarn High Council was dead within 9.2 seconds. No wasted motion, no survivors, just a silent one, walking through fire and blood, leaving nothing but whispers behind. We Gazar held an emergency session. There was debate, panic. Should we ally with the humans? Warn others? Flee? But I argued something else. She spared us. I said, she only destroys monsters. Now, as I relay this in the orbiting vessel Wisdom's feather, I look down at the Zarn homeworld, a scorched wasteland. The girl is gone, vanished, like a ghost of vengeance. But I remember her words. You don't grow up on Earth without learning to keep your monsters inside. She had more monsters than most. And thank the stars, she only lets them out when necessary.